Since when is calling for accountability, transparency from the government become a crime? Because it seems to be so in Nigeria and so many parts of Africa. You can see as a result of because of this Oyo's school rescue, we all thank God for their successful rescue. But there are so many questions ringing in the heart of Nigerians. So many questions. Some people are calling for accountability, calling for a full investigation how the kidnapping happened, and also through the rescue period, what happened, how were they rescued? Because if you can see, the stories of the rescue, add up at all. It's, add
Politics.
up because the stories surrounding the rescue, those stories, rhyme at all. Military is telling us another thing. Police, other law enforcement agencies is saying another thing. Security experts they're saying another thing. Government itself they're saying another. Even Oyo State, they not won't even allow the governor to speak. So I'll be addressing those issues on this episode. And also from military also, they have also coming, they don't still come out talking about misinformation. Even when we try ask the world, relevant important question surrounding this Oyo school rescue. It's a great thing. You people have done so well, boy, making sure say these children and these teachers, they are out of those kidnappers' dungeon. But there is no way asking the most important questions has become a crime, become misinformation. Because that's what they are tagging all of these things to. And that is what they correct at all. So now, coming from Oyo, Seyi Makinde, this is the video that Seyi Makinde did that prompted Senate, the presidency, everybody shutting him up, saying that he's like jeopardizing, he's trying to tarnish the good operation, the success that Nigerian military and the other law enforcement agencies has made. Let's hear from Seyi Makinde.
Surrounding this incident are sufficiently grave and unusual to warrant independent scrutiny beyond our domestic institutions. I therefore, with a full sense of responsibility as the Executive Governor of Oyo State, call on the appropriate international human rights and accountability mechanism, including those within the United Nations system, to closely examine the facts surrounding this abduction and the circumstances of its resolution. Such scrutiny is not intended to undermine our institutions. Rather, it is intended to reinforce public confidence that the truth will be established and that every person found to bear responsibility, regardless of office, influence, or affiliation, will be held accountable. Under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the primary responsibility for national security rests with the federal government and the security agencies under its command. The Nigerian people, therefore, deserve a full and transparent account of what happened, who was responsible, whether there were institutional failures, negligence, or collusion at any level, and what measures must now be taken to ensure that no community is ever subjected to such an ordeal again. This is not about politics. It is about justice for the victims, reassurance for our people, and restoring public confidence that every Nigerian child can go to school without fear.
So now the video where Seyi Makinde make na be this one.
The
You
circumstances
see,
surrounding this incident.
so you can see the question that Seyi Makinde, him himself is not even asking on this clip. He not even asked about how the rescue was conducted, but I know it's part of it. It's asking how did it happen because him himself complained that when they notice that he has an interest to run for presidency, this thing happened. So calling for transparency, calling for international world, partnership to ascertain how all of these things happen, what is behind this kidnapping. And also another question which Nigerians, apart from the one that Seyi Makinde is asking about this Oriire kidnapping, is how were they rescued? Because the stories are not corresponding. And for you to understand that these things, that the same question that people are asking that I myself stay on my video, remember the previous video that I did about this Oriire, This Oyo school kidnapping, you need to go and watch it because some of my analysis there is come to be that is the same thing Nigerians are asking. Even some of the videos that they dropped as an evidence to show how those school children were rescued, some people that have watched it, I saw this Prince William, when he watched the news, as in there's a part of it that he watched, a clip that somebody sent to him that is the evidence for, you know, for the rescue mission. Well, after watching it, the guy just hits on there, close on his clip because that is not what he's expecting to see. You see, now the same question, like I said before, this Seyi Makinde is asking, we Nigerians were asking. You said some military said there is a true risk, unconditional surrender. Government, federal government said it was a rescue mission. What do we believe? Then give us a clip, give us evidence to show that you guys rescued them. If ransom is paid, you say that this is a history. That yes, in Nigeria, first time that a rescue mission happened without ransom. If truly these guys, it happened without ransom, that you guys made so many arrests that pressure those guys to what? To release the children. Then where are those individuals that you guys rescued? Where are they? That's the question. You need to show us those guys. That's just simple. If you said that you made an arrest, then parade them. I'm not the only one calling. Look at this senator also calling for the same thing.
What is important going forward now is to take a cue. Now we have people arrested. These people must immediately be paraded, prosecuted, and laid low. Take its course. Delaying prosecution will create another impression that something is amiss. I therefore call on the prosecutorial authorities to please, as a matter of urgency, let them prosecute, let them parade, let them show an example to these people.
So now you can see this is a senator. This is a senator. Okay, Senator Nengi. You see, calling for what? For those individuals to be what? Paraded. And here is a Senate. Can you see the word from Senate? Look at a statement from Senate. Look at what they said. This is what the Senate said. The Senate has cautioned Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde against making statements that could undermine ongoing effort by the federal government and security agencies in tackling terrorism and kidnapping. Following his call on United Nations to investigate the abduction of school children and teachers in Oriire local government area. Since when that calling for accountability, transparency becomes an effort to jeopardize law enforcement work? Because now the thing where did they try allege be that, or the thing they are trying to make us believe that the man is jeopardizing the effort of law enforcement agency. How is that possible? Now this Adam Soshomole, look at his own, also calling out Seyi Makinde.
I thought that was the most unstatemanly. He was carrying partisan politics too far, and this Senate should condemn his unguided statement. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. When we wake up and call on foreign authorities to investigate, this is one case in which our armed forces have shown that without paying ransom, even if it meant that these children and some of the elders had to be in captivity for almost 2 months, that the armed forces were working quietly to have these rescue operations, which, as well captured in this motion, led to some loss of life. To trivialize it, to suggest, as the governor of Oyo State seems to have done, that there is something that is not open, that the UN needs to unearth the circumstances, is to question the sovereignty of our nation and to downplay the achievement of the commander-in-chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and all the service chiefs and in fact all those involved in this process. I think that there is a moment in the history of a nation when across party divide we should stand in unison to commend what has happened, the way in which people were released, and to encourage the armed forces to build on it, that they should extend and get more gadgets. I mean, it's not possible for them to share with us some of the things they did. Like I heard, they were able to identify the guys, arrest some of their relatives, etc., etc. These are not details that we're interested in.
Very good point.
But I want us to resolve that
Thank you.
the
Wonderful
governor of
point.
Oyo State should not be seen as downplaying, undermining, and politicizing an issue in which ought to be something that the whole nation, across party divide, should stand in unity to commend our armed forces for what they have accomplished on this occasion.
Thank you very much. We now yield the floor to Senator Abdulaziz Eradua.
So you can see what is playing out here, trying to shut the governor. Imagine if the governor for your state can be shut this way from asking relevant questions, the important question forward, pure investigation to ascertain who is behind it. How did it happen? On what area did the security agencies fail? If the governor can be shut up in such a way, imagine we Nigerians. Because this keeps on happening. Now people are asking important questions relating to this kidnapping. We need to know who is behind it. We need to know how it happened, where law enforcement agencies and fail. That's one thing that even Seyi Makinde is calling. But the concerns of Nigerian citizens is the area, the stories they are telling us about the rescue. It doesn't add up. You can say Adams or Shumole still using the statement that ransom wasn't paid. Really? You want us to believe that ransom wasn't paid? That is absurd. You see, the Nigerians are not buying that idea. If truly the ransom wasn't paid, we call on evidence. Show us how the operation was carried out. Just some tips. Those soldiers that were killed, show Nigerians that these are the soldiers that lost their lives. Because they say, yes, security agencies, some of them lost their lives. Then where are they? Who are those security agencies? What are their names? Until today, nobody, we have not seen anything. The operation, I think some part of it to show how that operation happened. Nigerians have not seen anything. This man trying to what? This should be a wizard.
When some of these
so this is a who is this individual? Barrister Darlington, expressing his support, concurring with Oyo State Governor for calling for what? For this independent investigation and also for accountability. Let's hear him.
Defect from their own party to APC. When some of these governors want to defect from their own party to APC, Tinubu will give them royal welcome in Aso Rock. But something like this happen in your region. You did not take on the governor. Come, let's talk. How do we go about this thing? And you said the man should not be suspicious. In fact, Makinde should raise his voice so that it will get to the UN and to Donald Trump. That's why the man want to exonerate himself. Abi? Yes, now. Fayose was blaming Makinde. Now Makinde was playing politics with those kidnapped. That it should be responsibility of Makinde. And the man said, okay, no problem. Oh yeah, let the external body come and probe me. So why should the federal government be jittery over it? Tell me, what has it done?
You see, remember, you see this issue of body shame, you can see this Barrister Darlington still, coming to the same thing. Everybody is coming to the same conclusion. We are all seeking for what? Independent
What is important going forward now?
Everyone is asking for independent investigation about this case. We want pure answer because we are not an animal republic whereby whatever the government just says, we take it that way. And there are so many reasons, like I was saying earlier. You said ransom wasn't paid. Then how was the operation conducted? A military said that those people were forced to surrender. Those the school children and teachers. If that is the fact, why is the beheaded the unalive teachers? Why is their body not here yet released? Because if they were surrendered, both the bodies will also be surrendered. Will also be what? Surrendered. The stories doesn't add up. If you are able to add up all these things together, you will come to the conclusion that ransom was paid. And these ones are the ones, you see, those children and teachers that are alive are the ones they were able to what? Hand over immediately, and the kidnapper, take away. Remember, how is ransom paid? You first of all pay ransom, then and trust the kidnappers to release the school children. Now they pay the ransom, expecting the kidnappers to bring both the bodies and the children. But this kidnapper didn't do that. Because remember, body is so difficult to carry. Either you carry it by car or carried by movement. So kidnappers, they need to be very cautious. They need to release the ones, human being that can move. With that, kidnappers can protect their heads. That is just the simple fact. The families of those dead are calling now for the body, both the headmaster or the principal that was unalive. They are now calling for recovery of the body. Put these things together, you see that both the call from Seyi Makinde, both the call from Senator Nenge, so on and so forth. Their calls are reasonable. Look at this man. Who is this particular man? You can see the kind of statement in the former DSS. Remember, I keep on talking about this issue of all the former DSS directors. The word they come out and speak sometimes, you'll be wondering, are these the people that want to save us? You see, look at the statement from this man. See, the practice of once anything happens and everybody goes to the high heaven to call for immediate action, release this, do that, on the security is not helping matters. It is not done like that. If it were that easy, no Nigerian would be in captivity for any reason. But believe you me, a lot of effort needs to be put into it. See, when they look, I don't know how all these men, the way they see things, but we're in a democratic nation, a transparency. This is not personal business. Law enforcement agencies, they are funded by public tax, public money. That is why you see anything that law enforcement agency, when the people that are paying the tax are calling for accountability, you give them accountability. Let's hear the old man speak. You see? Since when is calling for accountability become jeopardizing? When you see in America, when missions take place, you see they're releasing what evidence. Even if you don't show it to the public fully, you must show it to what? To the Senate. You must show evidence. You must show evidence to the what? To the Senate. But it is not happening in Nigeria. So as you can see, this is a former DSS director. Hear him.
There's a lot of understanding on a whole lot of activities that requires a lot of understanding on the part of Nigerians. This practice of once anything happens and everybody goes to the high heavens to call for immediate action, release this, do that on the security is not helping matters. It is not done like that. If it were that easy, no Nigerian will be in captivity for any reason. But believe you me, a lot of effort needs to be put into it, a lot of understanding on the part of Nigerians needs to be given. Then on the part of the politicians, security, a whole lot of Nigerians need to be given. Then on the part of the politicians, security has no distinction between politicians and non-politicians. All that you can have as a politician, if you are a high-profile politician, is maybe a security detail. How many of them can protect you? If they protect you, what of your people? What of your community?
So you can see this former DSS director, you can hear what is coming out from his mouth. That why must Nigerians ask for transparency? Why must Nigerians ask for operational, at least little operation, not even full details? Because they can't give us anything. That is the problem, because they have nothing to give. Now the families of the principal, now everyone is calling for the body to be what? Released. As if these ones from Senate is not enough. This is what the military, this is what they are telling Nigerians. You can see the headline here. The military cautioning Nigerians. Yeah, it is. Look at your military. Can you see what the military they are doing? Cautioning Nigerians. Say, Nigerian army and Air Force urge Nigerians to reject misinformation that undermine troops and unintentional what? Unintentional amplifies terrorist propaganda. Imagine what is there to be amplifying about terrorist propaganda in this Oyo what case. This is the video they released for us, telling us that these are the details how the rescue was conducted. I don't know if they are talking to human beings or they are telling what? Zombies. This is the video. So you can see as it's displaying on my screen. Can you see these things? Does any of these things look like a little bit of some little actions relating to military rescue operation? The short answer is what? 100% no. Nothing happened. Yes, something happened, but not the way they are telling the story. They are telling the story that does not relate. As in the stories where these guys they tell, you know, relate to the operation at all. Like I said before, they did a marvelous job for making sure that these guys come out. But the thing there is that to tell the people exactly what happened, we deserve truth. These people, they are serving us, not the other way around. Nobody like this former DSS assistant director, whatever his name is there, Mr. Mohammed, nobody is asking for operational detail. Then brief the Senate, brief the House of Rep members, show them details because they are even if you don't show all the citizens, you show them. Show the governor the evidence, how the operation was conducted, what happened, what took place. Remember, all the blame was on him, but when the operation was conducted, when the rescue, everything happened, federal government took the credit. The man was just, roaming up and down. Nigerians, what we're asking is a reasonable thing. Like I said before, the family of the HM, these are US. You see, when they conduct operation, you see them showing there is nothing classified here. You can see US conducting operation in Iran. You can see it on my screen. You can see how they are displayed. This is how military works in nations, both Russia, China, Iran, so on and so forth. You can see how USA, they are giving you some kind, they are not giving you detail. They are not telling you where this bomb is coming from, but they show you for you to know that yes, these operations are going on. This is a sea drone they used to struck a Iranian ship maintenance, ship maintenance site. You can see the way they are showing us. There is nothing about compromising. There is nothing about creating, issues for military. There's nothing like amplifying the part of the terrorists here. There's nothing like trying to undermine the effort of law enforcement agencies. Nothing like that. It is in life. When you use lie and start a story, when people begin to try to find out about your lie, it now start to make excuse. It now begin to bring intimidation tactics. Just like the way they are trying to intimidate the masses, the way they are trying to intimidate Governor Seyi Makinde. Even the people that were released, they couldn't say anything because at least they are so grateful that yes, they are out of the kidnappers' dungeon. Both the teachers, school children, everybody, both their parents will be highly cautioned not to say anything. If not, they might be arrested. You can see the family here, they are calling for what the headmaster that was beheaded for the man's body to be retrieved. If yes, that these guys surrender these people, they will release this man. They will release those teachers that were unalived. But till today, nothing. Nothing. You can see this federal government or your abduction. My government will get justice. You get justice for the body that you have not recovered. The family of this principal, they are calling now for the man's body to be what? To be recovered. But no. This is the level. Now, this is Senate. You can see calling millions that they are trying to what? Say they are allocating 50 million naira Okay, this Senate approved 50 million support for families of security personnel teachers killed during Oyo school children rescue. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has announced that the Senate approved 50 million support package for the families of people who lost their lives during the rescue of the abducted school children in Oyo State. Speaking during a plenary, Akpabio said that the war operation claimed the lives of 28-year-old Army lieutenant from Adamawa State, a police sergeant, another soldier, and two other teachers who were being held captive alongside the children. He also noted that several of other security personnel sustained injuries during the mission. An army lieutenant from Adama was killed, a police sergeant was killed, another private soldier was also killed, and many were wounded. The two teachers who were in captivity with the children were also murdered. Akpabio said. He added that the Senate commended the federal government and the security agencies for securing the children release and appealed for similar effort to rescue every Nigerian still being held captive across the country. We want to also support the victim's family. The young lieutenant was just 28 years old, and when he died in that operation, we are also sending a token of 50 million to be divided among the 5 deceased family, 10 million each to the family of the 2 teachers and the 3 operative who lost their life. Now you can see they are now trying to send out money. Those teachers that were unalived, where is their bodies? Where are their bodies? Somebody came out the other day saying no soldier was by through that war, through as a result of this operation. Give us operational detail. That's what Nigerians are asking for. Even Seyi Makinde have not even seen anything. That's why you see the man is so angry at all of this in playing out. We will ask for reasonable things, and in a democratic nations, they will make you can say the way they are calling millions. This is a good operation that you guys have conducted. I don't know why the government, they are doing everything possible to mess it up. Because this is them messing up the successful operation they have conducted. This is a successful operation. It is a success. Returning these people. Look, I've been following this Israel and Hamas operation. I know what it is. I know how. I know as they be where be say yes, people are kept in kidnapper dungeon. I know what Israel. It took Israel in order to what return the Israeli citizens that were kidnapped into Gaza, not even the jungle, into Gaza. So I don't know why our government, they are rubbishing this great effort. I don't know why they are making it look so silly this way. Even yes, ransom paid, there are some agreements, 1 or 2 things we are done. We are making effort to return the bodies of those teachers and the principal. That is what Nigerians want to hear. They surrendered the children. Where is the bodies? How was the operation conducted? How those teachers? Okay, what is the names of those soldiers and the personnel, both the police officers and all this way they are listing? Who are they? Where are their pictures? Where are their family members? You guys say when I arrested people, then parade those people that were arrested. Where those terrorists? Where are they from? Which part of Nigeria are they from? What are their names? What are their? Show us their images. None of these things is happening. And when people are asking this question, they are telling you that you are undermining the effort of the soldiers, Nigerian military, so on and so forth. Do you know? Yet Nigerians understand what it takes. We understand the effort that these people put. Nobody's undermining. I myself, I so much appreciate the effort of what the security agents, because it's not easy. Like I said before, I've been following what is happening all over the Middle East and other part of the world. I know how hard it is to rescue people. Rescue mission is not an easy mission. And that is why Nigerians are asking for these things in order for our appreciation to the law enforcement and to the government to be in full. And when people ask for questions like this, you are telling that they are jeopardizing the effort of the country. People, they are now even being mad. The Senate and everybody is calling out Governor Seyi Makinde. In fact, the Senate, they are now rejecting the release of rejecting every effort from Seyi Makinde for accountability. even for the help of international bodies to help on what investigations. This is what crazy. And this is the country we have found ourselves into. This is Nigeria for you. No accountability. Nobody want to answer questions. Nigeria, this is whatever law enforcement agents, they are working for the people. They are not working for themselves. And whenever they release cases in some few details on how operation was conducted, that is not jeopardizing. That is not exposing tactics. Even when USA did release, they did not pass to release and pass not to release. Tell the truth of how things is done. You see, but when you start with lies, remember when this thing happened, they blamed Seyi Makinde. But when it happened under Goodluck Jonathan, they blamed Goodluck Jonathan instead of the governor of the state. This is what unfair. Nigerians, we need accountability. Security and the government, they work for us, not the other way around. Like I always say, if this is your first time coming across any of my platforms, please hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share like always.